Body Maintenance 101. Today we're going to work on the lower quarter from the knee down. We're going to use two apparatuses. First one's like two golf balls taped together with athletic tape. Nice little handy dandy tool. And a lacrosse ball. So we're going to look at the foot first. And we're talking about the foot. We want to remember that there's 6 lines of connective tissue. One going from each toe back to the heel. And on the outside, by the pinky toe, there's actually 2 lines of connective tissue. One for the toe itself and then running along the outside edge of the foot. Now some of that connective tissue runs into the actual heel itself, and this is very important because if we keep that connective tissue loose, we can stop ourselves from getting bone spurs right back here on the inside of the heel. The rest of the connective tissue that doesn't go in the actual heel itself runs over top of the heel and then starts into the Achilles tendon on the back here. So again, we want to work that connective tissue all the way through the foot because we're going to be affecting the ability of that connective tissue in the Achilles heel or the Achilles tendon to stay nice and loose and pliable. After we work on the foot, we're going to work on this U-shaped tissue here underneath the malleolus, the big bony part of the ankle. This U-shaped tissue here, and then we're going to continue on right inside of the Achilles tendon here, and then working right up along the tibia, the long bone of the lower leg, along the inside of the calf, right up to where the tibia starts to turn into the head. You'll know when because it gets nice and hard right there. We're going to stay in that soft tissue in through there. But let's start on the foot first. We're going to use our peanut ball. And we're going to start on the outside edge of the foot, because that's where those 2 lines of connective tissue are. And we're going to roll nice and slow and deliberately from right behind the pinky toe right into the heel. Nice, long, slow strokes. Now you might feel a little bit of what we call like a mini crunching effect, like a crunch, crunch, crunch as you go through the roller here. And that's okay. That's that connective tissue pulling apart. That's those strands being separated and becoming more elastic and more pliable. And you want to get that effect, at least for the first couple of times that you roll. After a while, it might dissipate a little bit. You won't get that same effect. After you've rolled 10 to 15 good strong rolls on the outside, work it in a little bit, going underneath of the foot now, trying to get more separation on those bands of connective tissue. You really can't do this too much, but you definitely can do it too little. So it's better to spend more time here than not. 2 to 3 minutes on each foot is usually a pretty good amount of time. 10 to 30 seconds on each section of the foot. And then after you've done the middle, work it to the inside edge. Again, that peanut ball is going on the inside, working that groove right alongside of the inside, working that longitudinal arch, the arch that goes from the toes back to the heel. And then we're going to use one edge of the peanut ball after we've done the inside of the foot, spent some time in there. We're going to work the heel, work that connective tissue that goes right over top of the heel. And this is where you're really going to feel that crunch, crunch, crunch effect. Going from the outside edge of the heel, working it to the middle, and then working it to the back edge of the heel. Not a lot of technique here, just probe around, scout out any spots that might give you a little zing, and just roll it nice and hard and deliberately. And again, you want to spend about probably a minute or 2 on the heel, getting into the back edge there as much as you can, working it right up into where that Achilles tendon starts to form up. After you've done that longitudinal arch in the heel, then we're going to switch over to our lacrosse ball, and we're going to work the lateral arch of the foot. So there's an arch that goes longitudinally here, but then there's also a lateral arch that goes from big toe to little toe. And this is where the lacrosse ball comes in real handy. We're going to put it right back behind the toes on the forefoot, underneath the forefoot, with the heel in the ground. Once we've got our foot in position, we're going to smash that foot right up over top of that ball. And you can use your hand on either side of the foot to just help facilitate a bigger stretch and pulling through that foot. And once you've got a good smash going, you've got some good separation going within that forefoot, then you're just going to roll it slowly and deliberately again from one side of the foot by the pinky to the other side of the foot by the big toe. You're just going to work it side to side. Usually 5 to 8 good reps here, maybe up to 10 at the forefoot. Then we're just going to scoot it back just a little bit. Working side to side again. And we're just going to work it back from one side of the foot to the other, and just going to gradually work all the way back towards the heel, and just trying to get as much compression on that ball as possible. Just get a really good smash on that foot and get some separation, some strumming going on those bands of connective tissue underneath the foot. If you find a lot of pressure and pain on the midfoot area, go ahead and take your time. Doesn't have to be a full roll here. You can just spend a little bit of time, do a little smash. You do a little smash and twist on it. Work it all the way to the outside edge as much as possible. Make sure that foot's really feeling it all the way through. Once we worked it back to the heel, and we spend another minute or two, maybe up to 3 minutes, going to that lateral arch. Then we're going to start working down into that connective tissue that's underneath of the ankle. So on this one here, we have a couple different ways we can do it. We can go with just a regular hand smash using the lacrosse ball, getting on the tissue, getting a good hard push on it, and then just kind of working the ball around, little tiny mini rolls. You can go forward and backwards, up and down, roll it in circles, however you want to do it, and then rotate it to a different spot. Get the smash going again. Be really aggressive with this. Put as much downward pressure as you can right on all that soft tissue. Make sure you're staying off of the bone. Another way to do it is put the ball in a position, smash it down, and then give it a good hard twist. Try to twist the skin and twist that connective tissue and really get it to loosen up. You want to see that skin be nice and loose and mobile down here, because if that skin gets too tight and too plastic, that's an indicator that the connective tissue up underneath of the skin is nice and rock solid as well. We don't want that. We want it nice and loose. As you work it around underneath that malleolus, that bony structure of the ankle, then you're going to start working it back to the Achilles. If you do a lot of running, a lot of jumping, a lot of sports, lateral movement here, the Achilles can get really inflamed, and this will feel just disgusting as you roll it out. And after you get back on the Achilles, they're going to start working up into that soft tissue that goes right up on the inside of the tibia. And here again, we're just going to use a hand smash on it, working 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches at a time. Taking our time, trying to push that ball right through to the other side of the calf. And if you find any gunky spots, push right down on the gunk, and then try to cock the foot and relax. Cock and relax. Get that tissue to stretch out underneath the pressure of the ball. Another way we can work that tissue, as we go up the leg, we can take the ball, put it up underneath of the leg. This is much more aggressive, but you can get a bigger roll and you get more pressure. And then we're going to roll the leg forward and backwards, right on that soft tissue that goes right underneath of that calf. And here again, you find a spot that gets really nasty and gunked up right up by that gastroc. You're just going to bend and flex the foot, and then work it to a different spot. Bend and flex, dorsiflex and extend, and then go back again. And just keep working all that tissue right up to the inside. Should spend a good 2 to 3 minutes there, good minute or two down here. 2 to 3 minutes working the longitudinal arch, a minute on the heel, and 2 to 3 minutes working that lateral arch going side to side. You're looking at about 5 to 10 minutes tops all the way through on that one leg, and then repeat it. Repeat everything over on the other side. Really work out that disgusting tissue that gets knotted up and gunked up in here. And then next week we're going to work on the lower quarter again, but we're going to look at the peroneals on the front and working on the gastroc heads and that soleus that goes on the outside, on the lateral side of the lower leg, and it will probably work into the calf as well. Until then, do your homework, get soft, get pliable. See you next time.